Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tarda Zone Talks on the Knoll Zone. I hope you're all doing very well indeed. Yes, well, we are here to talk about an adventure in space and diversity. Time. Um, RTD has made changes to the latest edition of an adventure in space and time. The lovely, wonderful documentary bio special that chronicled the history of the show. And there was a lovely little sweet scene at the end of that where Matt Smith obviously was the current Doctor, and William Hartnell was in the scene, or David Bradley playing the Fourth Doctor. And it was a really nice, sweet scene. But I even said at the time, for me, and this is why I have a problem with it, because I had a problem with it with Matt Smith. So I want to make that clear. I did have a problem with just the Fourth Doctor and Matt Smith, but I could understand it to a certain extent, just like I can understand the change with Ncuti to a certain extent. But for me, I always felt that particular scene would have worked better if other doctors, as William Hartnell's Doctor is standing there, or David Bradley's Fourth Doctor version was standing there, and then you saw Patrick Troughton, Pertwee, and so on, all the way up until the current Doctor, right? And then obviously then you update it then, because you're going to update it now, and then you had to update it. And yes, some people would disagree, but then you would have included Jodie Whittaker's Doctor in that. But I've seen some fans put that argument out there. Well, Jodie Whittaker's Doctor wasn't in it. Well, Mark Gatiss did actually say that they would update it. Now, whether he meant they'd update it after every new Doctor or whether an anniversary came up, I don't know the exact details. But this has caused it's another thing added onto the Davros Gay situation. And where the night before the return of Doctor Who under RTD. I've been sent a copy, and I want to give a special shout out to Unknown 289. I have the colorized version of the Daleks. I haven't watched it yet, but by the reaction that I've seen by most people, it's been very mixed. A lot of people are not happy with it either. And again, that's just another little bit added on to this already tense situation between the fandom and RTD right now. I said it when they released this. That scene would have been a lot better if the other Doctors had flashed in front of David Bradley's Doctor's eyes. But it was a sweet scene between him and Matt Smith, and I can understand why fans are very protective of it. This live, yes, it's live. I am live. Yeah, just in case anybody is wondering, yes, I am. Very much so. Someone asked me if I was alive. Oh, you're still alive. Last night, I've also had 3 threats on my life in the last 24 hours. But there you go. That's what happens when you take a stand, or you have a different opinion, or you voice different opinions to other people. Don't put yourself through it, Noel, says Jordan Jacket Rabbit. Nicholas Horton says, hi, Noel. And of course, Mr. Meister there, Cockmeister, I should say, And he asked, was this live? Of course it's live, yes. The original is 100% better, says Jordan Rabbit. I do agree, it is. It's a nice little scene. But for me, I said it even back then. That scene for me would have worked better if you had seen all the doctors, because we were celebrating, we were celebrating the history of Doctor Who at that stage. And it would have been nice to include all the other doctors, in my opinion. But they left it with Matt Smith, and I agree. It was a sweet scene, and I thought it's good. I have seen the shoot he's in. And it's rather cheeky, I would say, and he throws a little wink and stuff like that. But again, it just seems to me that certain things that are being done are just being done on purpose. Did you really need to go and touch that, really? Or is this just, again, because it's going on Disney Plus, folks. All of this stuff that they're doing anyway goes on Disney Plus. So I don't know. I'm a bit cynical about it. Have to be honest with you. Personally speaking, I don't really give a shit. I really don't, actually, because, for me, we've got the original, and even though, as I said, I would have preferred to see all the doctors, that scene with Matt Smith is pretty sweet. So, for me, that's the version I will watch. I'm not going to lose any sleep over the fact that there's a different version. We can all choose what version we want. Remember that. But I do believe, because I'm a bit of a cynic, that it's done on purpose. And this is why there does be a bit of a backlash against it. Everything just seems to be done on purpose. Let's see who else we've got in the chat. We've got Garbage in the chat. Welcome, Garbage. You got here at the start of a stream. Yay! Only joking, mate. Only joking. We got Bobby D75 as well, who has actually been sending me those reviews as well for those videos. And while he's here, we might as well give him a shout out as well. We got Facebook user in the chat. I think it more a fan film looks junky. And whoever you are, if you want to throw your name in, you're more than welcome to do so. Glad to see you're safe, especially after hearing what happened in Ireland. Yeah. Yeah, it was don't want to get into it really here, but follow me on Rumble, because I will be in the next few days I will be kind of reflecting on what happened. But yeah, nightmare to get home, for obvious reasons. But yeah, I eventually got home. But on the journey home, as I said, my life was threatened a couple of times. And then when I got home, then on social media, someone threatened to cave me head in, me skull in. But yeah, listen, I'm tough as me. I think people underestimate me, man. These last 6 years have really been an education, but have also prepared me for what's happening today. So, people come at me with hurty words on X. I mean, I'm just gonna laugh at them, But I will look after myself and I will stay safe. I'm not fucking stupid. So you don't have to worry about me. But you know what? The fact that there are people worried about me, it does, thank you. I'm glad there are people out there that actually care and give a shit what happens to me. So that's nice. But don't worry. I didn't get involved in any of the stuff that went on last night. I went in there with a group of people that wanted to protest peacefully. And then when we got in there, unfortunately, the whole situation had lost control. And I witnessed something that I've never witnessed in my life firsthand. I was there on the streets. I was right beside that bus and that car. I was actually about 20 foot away from that bus when it exploded the first time. And then there were multiple explosions. It was nothing that I've ever experienced before. But again, the government, the media today, celebrities that are on the left just haven't learned anything from last night. And instead of actually sitting down, taking stock, taking a deep breath, and listening to the concerns of citizens, they've decided to come out on the attack today. And I fear there is going to be more stuff happening in this country. And nobody wants that, by the way. I want to make that very fucking clear. Nobody wants that. But the Irish people feel like they're not being listened to. Nobody condoned what happened last night. People went in there, genuine people like myself went in there to protest. And even when we got there, sure, you will see me video. As I'm walking into the city centre, you will see it. I took no part in anything. I filmed. And what I witnessed, I've never witnessed my people do. And then, but the question I ask is, what drove them to it? What drove them to it? And that's the question that the politicians, the celebrities, and the media out there are missing. What fucking drove them to it? And if you listen to them, you will get your fucking answer. It's as simple as that. But thank you, Nicholas. Everybody else that sent me messages last night, I really appreciate it. I'm glad that you were all, thinking about me, and it meant a lot. Trust me, it does. That support means a lot. So thank you. I watched the colorized Daleks last night, and I thought it was perfectly fine. In fact, I really enjoyed it. I'm a long time fan since the Tom Baker days. The new effects were subtle, and the music added to the atmosphere slash tension. And I'll throw that comment up because on this channel we try. I get accused of not being balanced. I don't always get the balance right, but I do. I'm not one of these fans, one of these people that don't allow people to have a different opinion. So the Cockmeister there liked it. I think Halter meant to say I shouldn't be associating with right-wing fans. Just found out my eldest cousin's husband doesn't work in the city anymore. Well, that's good news. That's good news. So carry on, lads, says Jack. Nah, see again, I don't want that to continue. I don't want that to happen again. That's not the point. Listen, right? The anger boiled over last night, and these lefties and the government are trying to say, oh, you're only out there, they're only all racist and you're out there looting and doing this, that, and the other. And they don't even realise that, what happened yesterday was the catalyst, because there's been for months, and I would say for at least 2 years, the government and the media in this country have been labelling people that have had concerns right wing and hammering them. And the youth in this country, by the way, have been let down by the government. So they reacted as well. And unfortunately, their actions, involved what happened. And that's just, but again, they're missing the big question. What was the reason? What was the reason why it got to this point? And if they were educated like they say they were, well, then all of this would be solved within a matter of weeks. Seriously, it would be, right? I start following you on Rumble. Thank you. I will be there. I haven't done a live stream in a while. I throwing a video up. I will be throwing up some of the footage that I have from last night. Obviously, it's I have to edit down some of it because some of it is just looking into the crowd a lot and stuff like that. And there's yeah. it was mad. It was mad, man. I know. I'll be careful. I'll be careful. Don't worry about it. Yeah, well, Christmas, everything should calm down by then. Anyway, at least till Christmas. I think the new year in 2024 for Ireland is going to be a very interesting time in our country. I just pray to God that the politicians start listening to the people. They've got to You've got to listen to them. It's not even what they want is not even that much. If they just listened, there's a lot of people that have put out videos today. These people that the media have dragged through the mud, and they'll tell you what they want, and they're not even asking for much, and they're not. They're asking for basically what the Irish government or your governments around the world should always be doing: safeguarding your people. It's all good, lads. All good. It's all good. But Real Super Doctor says they're deliberately trying to destroy Classic Who now. That colorization was awful, so Real Super Doctor didn't like it. They either call people right wing or populist. I just think they are patriots who don't want to see our culture, history, and Western values destroyed. I agree with you. I agree 100%. But here's an irony for you all, and here's the hypocrisy, right? And I've said this to a few lefties, and they hate it when you say it, but it's the truth. You weren't saying that during BLM when you were all supporting Black Lives Matter, and then they went on a rampage all over America and looted shops and destroyed businesses, and it was happening in Europe as well, and you were all trying to justify it and defend it. But yeah, 3 kids get stabbed yesterday in this country, along with a childcare worker, and the alleged attacker is injured as well. And the Irish people are angry, and the anger is building during the day because there's unfiltered reports coming through. And then there's a spark, and then all hell breaks loose. And yet you are all coming out and condemning those people, but you didn't condemn Hamas for doing what they did, even though the people that you support all voted in that terrorist organization. I mean, it's quite ironic that these are all pointing the finger. The reason why there's division in this country is not because of the so-called far right, it's because of the radical left. That's what they do in every country. They gaslight everything, bend the facts to suit their narrative. People need to wake up. Got some mad lunatic come at me at Christchurch telling me it was my fault that this country was in the state that it was in. No, my friend. And as I said to you, straight to your fucking face, it's you and every other little twat that has the same belief, because you're all sheep, you're all a hive mind. You don't even when you were writing stuff up on Twitter last night about the imaginary far right, every single one of you were reading from a script. You do what the media do. You don't even have your own independent thought. Someone puts up, a celebrity will put up, oh, that was disgraceful. The far right are absolutely disgusting, blah, blah, blah. And then you'll see hundreds of the same tweet, right? But by different people, because they're all sheep, they all follow the same. So what one person says it, they all say it. Whereas if you have independent thought like we do, and have ideas and solutions to all of these problems, you're labelled far right. I didn't go in there to do anything illegal, and I didn't go in there and do anything illegal. And what will back me up is the fact that I was live on X all through the night. I didn't engage in any of that. I went in there because I was disgusted that 3 young children and a carer that was looking after those kids were stabbed in Dublin City in broad daylight. I didn't like it. So back to to Doctor Who. So I'll leave it there, folks, because follow me on Rumble, and I'll give you me thoughts and me feelings, and summarize all of this. I'm still in a bit of shock. I've got to be honest, right? That's the way I'll put it. I am in actual shock, but I predicted this even last year. It was going to happen. The evidence was there. You look at other European countries, the people were fed up because governments don't listen. It was inevitable. It was going to happen. Anyway, Real Super Doctor's problem with it was I didn't like it. It was poorly edited. It would have been better if the serial was all colorized, no cuts, no changes to the music or Dalek dialogue, says Real Super Doctor. Yeah, but we're not dividing and conquering people. It's the left. They're telling everybody that everybody is racist when that's not the case. And then, like, you get all of these victimhood groups coming together, then pushing the same narrative because they believe there is racism. I'm not saying there's no racism in any country. Of course there is. There's always racism in countries, and it is bad, and it should be, looked at. And why? Find the root cause. There's always a root cause that these are supposed to be all smart people in their jobs, right? I don't have the education that half of these people have, but even I can say, and I know there's always a root cause to everything, but they don't look at things like that. They look at things in black and white. That's it. Right? There's no little grey area, middle ground, nothing. So it's the likes of them that are baited to bring the likes of a new world order. Yeah, Jack says, but in the terms of the colorized Daleks, it was awful. They treat kids like idiots today. Everything has to be dumbed down so they can watch. I watched the original Daleks when I was 8 years old. So, as I said, people will have. I haven't watched it yet, but I have been sent it. So what I'll do is I'll make up my own mind. To be quite honest with you, that's what I will do. But I have said I don't like. I'm like you, Jack, in the terms of and Real Super Doctor as well. In the terms of shaving it down for the modern audience, the story stands on its own 2 feet. Anyway, if modern audiences don't watch it, tough fans look. Well, I'm not a big fan of colorization, but I know there is a lot of fans that are. You still would have got a lot of people to buy this and watch this, because obviously I'm assuming they'll release it on DVD and Blu-ray. So, some fans would have bought it. I think Ian Levine is not happy with it. Well, Ian Levine's not happy with Anton lately, is he? Come on, in fairness. But I do agree with him on the new Who stuff that he's been talking about. I do agree with him on the Davros gate and all of that. And, fair enough, he wouldn't be happy with it. Look, I'm not happy with Anton being shaved down and stuff like that, but I can't make a judgment call on it until I watch it. But I do know that I really enjoyed the original version of that story. So there's poor CGI TARDIS at the beginning, says Real Super Doctor. Yeah. Look, all I'll say is this, I suppose you could say that RTD is trying to put out a lot of Doctor Who stuff. You've had the concerts, you've had the interview with the three showrunners, you've had all of other bits and pieces. You've had your stuff on social media, the Doctor Who for Dummies, as I call it. Like they've done a lot, and maybe that's the problem right there, is that they have done a lot and maybe not concentrated on a select projects and put the very best into them. But look, tomorrow's a big day for most of you. Tomorrow, a lot of you will be watching it live. I will not be watching it live. But when I do watch it, it will be obviously probably Monday or Tuesday when I watch it. But I will be doing a live watch along reaction. Now, obviously, I won't be able to show the episode on YouTube, right? So, I'm not a big channel like these YouTube Doctor Who tubers that actually get a chance to put some clips up. I can't even do that, right? So get your copy. Listen, I don't even have to say that because it'll be there, right? So if you just want to watch it again because you enjoyed it, or you just want to come in and watch it with me again, and then see what my reaction's going to be, because I'll be doing a live reaction on camera as I'm watching, giving comments and opinions as I'm watching. And then obviously we will have our panel then, and we will break down the episode. We'll ask everybody on the panel what was good and bad, and we'll rate it out of 10 as we always do, and then we will see where we go from there. So that's what we're going to do. It feels like a kick in the teeth, firstly, the Davros thing. Now, this is real super, Doctor. Jordan Jack Rabbit says the colour was the only good thing. Got to see Barbara in colour, says Jordan Jack Rabbit. Hey, all in all, just popping in as I'm off out in a bit, says Lindsay. Welcome, Lindsay. Scott Davros and Friends Wrestle with Pop Culture says that colorization was tripe. What does RTD have against Terry Nation? That is 2 scripts he's now crapped over. Gemstones Videography says the Daleks colorized was okay. Some edits were not needed. The effects were good. The only problem was the music, and could not hear the dialogue in place. The musical score was awful. Sorry, just taking a drink there. It sounds like the musical score, by the sounds of what everybody is saying in the chat, was too powerful for the. If it had been more, I'll ask you this, right? People that have watched it. Even if you think the music was crap, if the music was more subtle and wasn't overpowering some of the scenes over the dialogue, would it have worked? Let me see. I'm going to watch it with my mum, but we're both only there for Kathy and David. If I don't like it, then I'm not going to bother with the rest. Well, do you know what, Jack? Yeah, it's, the fact that you weren't going to originally watch it and now you're going to watch it with your mum. I think that's really nice, man. And it is, you're right, it is Kathy and David. I mean, David Tennant's done himself no favours today, an article on Pink News. I mean, he just needs to shut up. We get it, right? We get it. You support trans people, you support non-binary people, and you support those people that you believe are vulnerable. That's great. Well done. Now, can we just move on from it now? Do you know what I mean? You don't have to virtual signal every 5 fucking minutes. Do you know? You could just drop it now. We get it. You got your badge, you got your t-shirt, right? You got your little pin, whatever else you got going, right? We get it, okay? But you don't need to bang on about it every 5 fucking minutes now, David. Come on. To a lot of people, you're everybody's favorite. You're favorite doctor of a lot of people out there, right? Come on. we get it. And that's the thing. I get it. I get RTD even has his opinions and supports certain people. I get it. We all have our causes and we all have our things that we support. But you don't need to fucking bang on about it every 5 fucking minutes. Okay? So come on, leave it out for fuck's sake. Practical effects should be used more today in media. I agree with you. I think practical effects are better. You know, the CGI, but I think practical effects have become way too expensive that it's easier to use CGI for everything now. I don't like the adventure in time and space. And with Shooty replacing Matt. Too much was shaved off too, says the Scottish Davros and friends wrestle with pop culture. Jordan Jack Rabbit says no, it wouldn't, because the editing was awful. Nick Briggs inserted himself over the original Dalek actors, and so many important character development moments were cut, says Jordan Jack Rabbit. It's not sounding good, I have to be honest with you, but again, I will watch it for myself, because I do think if you're going to criticize something, you know, you should watch really before you start, because then you don't have a leg to stand on. But a lot of you did watch it, and you know what? That just goes to show RTD though. If he just treated people with a little bit more fucking respect and showed that he still had love for the fandom, right? Even if some of this stuff was bad and you didn't like it, you would still be fucking supporting it. Like, you know what I mean? You're supporting it now, but there'll be bigger numbers supporting it. He doesn't understand. You know, this is the thing that annoys me. It's a fucking simple fix, and all it is to fix this show and to fix fucking everything that's gone on the last fucking 6 years, I should say. I suppose it will work, but editing sticks out a mile, the flashbacks and cutting scenes as real Super Doctor. So another one that's not a fan of certain stuff that was blocked. Nicholas Horton says Hollywood has also changed. David Tennant, they all go over there and they get the mind virus and they bring it back with them. But you know, but I don't think Hollywood was the reason that David Tennant changed. He's married to a feminist. You know, she's openly feminist and she openly supports all of this leftist ideology. So, you know, I think it's, you know, and the fact that I think apparently he has a non-binary child as well. You know, I can get why David Tennant is doing that stuff. The thing about it is he doesn't need to go on banging on about it every 5 fucking minutes. We get it. You support all of these people. Well done, pat on the back, whatever. Now, can we move on? Can you talk about you playing the Doctor is? You know? I will not be supporting Gatwazera, fake Davros, trans this, trans that. I've had enough. I guess I'm just unable to let go of something that meant so much to me, says Jordan Jack Rabbit. Ironhead 2008 says Tennant's going to end up tarnishing his own legacy like RTD is doing. That's actually a good point. Does everybody agree with Ironhead there, 2008? Do you think that RTD and David Tennant are going to end up tarnishing their own legacy? The color was too intense, says Real Super Doctor. I really looking forward that last night. I thought, if anything, I can have this. They couldn't even do that. To be honest, I'm watching out of curiosity at this point. No excitement. Got to go. Catch you later, sends Lindsay. And Daniel felt that the effects were a bit weird for a 60th, a 60s story, I should say. Yeah. I highly doubt I will watch Davros. The last straw for me, says Scottish Davros and friends wrestle with pop culture. Well, by Monday, because that's how it usually works, we should have the BBC viewing figures for the first episode, The Star Beast. It should be Monday, maybe Tuesday, the latest. So we will get a first indication on UK television on how good or bad this has been received. Now, it'll be interesting to see how many millions tune in. Will we get less than Jodie Whittaker's first? The woman who fell to earth. Can it match it? Will it be below that figure? Will it be higher than that figure? All of these questions will be answered next week, folks. So we will see. But I will say this. RTD has decided to bring back some other people as well. You're going to have a Doctor Who podcast with Crystal D, Juno Dawson, and whoever the bloke is. But see, here's the problem I have with that, right? You've got 3 people on that panel that don't have different opinions. They will all, because they all support the same thing. Again, this is another problem that I have. It's like you're going to skew the opinions. If you're going to do a podcast like that, you've got to have balance. You've got to have fans on it that obviously are down with the message. And for balance, I think you should have fans on that are not really down with the message. And I think that would make for an amazing podcast. But you see, BBC wouldn't want that. RTD wouldn't want that. Because the problem is that the people that are normally down with the message, they don't really have a leg to stand on. And their arguments are really silly. And they would be exposed. So that's why they create the echo chamber. This is another thing that I'm not happy about. You know, when they got rid of all of the original, the original people that were doing the reviews, right? It was a mixed bunch. It was young fans, it was older fans, you know, and it was balanced. It's not going to be balanced under them. I mean, we know why Juno Dawson's been brought in, because RTD has brought in some trans characters. And we know why Crystal D is back, because she's down with all the gender cult. It's mad. I think these people are always woke leading. They just figured they can take the mask off now. Was Hollywood and practical, impenetrable bubble around creatives the reason, perhaps? That was from Ironhead 2008. And the Scottish Stars and Friends, Wrestle with Pop Culture, says ratings will be interesting. They will be indeed. But again, the night before the 60th anniversary, can I say that I'm buzzing? I mean, I'm sitting here and I'm miserable. I'm absolutely miserable. Like, I should be buzzing right now. You know? Like I was during the 50th. But I'm not. I'm actually dreading what's coming tomorrow. Because if he doesn't get it right tomorrow, then the show is in serious trouble and Shooty is in serious trouble before we even see him on screen, and I don't think that's fair. So he's got to get it right. Oh, sorry, just something funny there. What's with the hair? What's that look? Is that the
It's been like this
that
all day.
with the hairband? No, I don't think
Yeah,
so.
I came in here. I had
No,
dinner with him in minutes.
no way.
I did.
So you gone with the 80s look? I love it. Never gonna give you up. Well, we already know Rose is going to be. It's going to be about his gender all the time, and now, well, I mean, yeah, the reviews do indicate that, but again, you know, you've got to see how it's done first. They did put that scene out with Beep the Meat and Yasmin Finney. Now, I didn't think it was too bad, right? But again, did it really need to be? We haven't seen the context of the whole scene. That's the thing I would say. But you know, if that's the way it's going to be, yeah, we're going to be in trouble. Absolutely. I mean, it's going to be an absolute disaster. Maybe the editing him into AAISAT was a bad omen. Scottish Davros and Friends says less fans not happy with the stuff last night and Davros stuff combined with RTD's vile behaviour. We'll see. I still do think though David Tennant has a lot of pull, and I definitely do believe that Catherine Tate does as well. Though that's the thing. And I mean they are my favourite Doctor Companion duo, and second to them is Peter and Bill Potts. Because I don't like the romance element where the Doctor or companion falls in love with the Doctor. I hate that bullshit. So they're my favourite too, and I still do think they have a lot of pull with the audience. So I don't think we will see. We will see. I could be underestimating the fandom here. They could be really fed up, but we'll find out next week. I don't think any of us imagined it would crash so fast and so comprehensively. It took less than 5 years to thoroughly napalm the fandom and the lore. I mean, you're not fucking wrong there. I have to say, you're absolutely spot on there. I mean, I can't argue with that. Felt more like a Disney film instead of Doctor Who. It felt more like the Sarah Jane Adventures, says John Jack Rabbit. Also, I thought Beep would have sounded more alien. I actually like the way Beep sounded, to be quite honest with you. I have no I have no problem with Beep the Meat being in it if it's all done properly and fucking, you know what I mean? I think the CGI looks great as well. Like it does look decent, like wise, but the writing has to stand up. I don't want another era where it looks great, but the writing is absolute and the storytelling is awful. I don't want that again. Jack says, and I love the Sarah Jane Adventures, don't get me wrong, but it's not Doctor Who. And Scott Stavros and Friends wrestle with pop culture. Agree. Yeah, so you are probably wondering why I'm streaming now this early and not doing, obviously, the stream Friday night contact. Well, obviously after last night, you know, I worried a lot of people, including people at home. So I said that I would do an early stream and chill out for the rest of the evening. Because, you know, as I said anyway, over the weekend, it was me and the missus's wedding anniversary, and we haven't celebrated it because obviously our dog hasn't been well. And an update on Ted, I mean, he's got a lot more energy in him and stuff like that, and he's walking around. The weird thing about it is that he's eating, he's drinking, he's doing his business normal, but every so often, Cheryl believes he might have arthritis after his back went the first time. That might have been arthritis seeping in, and she thinks now he might have arthritis, and that's why he's not 100%. But yeah, he's still kind of worrying us a little bit as well. But there's been huge improvement, but he's not the way he was 2 weeks ago. So we just have to, as I said, if he wasn't eating, if he wasn't drinking these fluids, if he wasn't doing his business normal, you know, we'd have a situation. But he's doing all of that, and because of his previous injury, you know, we think it's linked to that. There's nothing else wrong with him. He's not out of breath or anything like that. And as I said, he's running around. It's just, and it always seems to be the times where it's really cold in the mornings. And if anybody suffers from arthritis, you'll know that the cold really plays havoc. So that's what we think he might have. And the thing about it is, we've obviously gotten in touch with the vets, and they're basically saying, look, you'd be, unless he's not eating or acting like that, there's not. I mean, we could do tests on him, but like, you'd be basically wasting your money. And financially, right now, we're not in the situation to be kind of doing that sort of stuff, because it's not cheap to get, you know, what you need for dog. Look, trust me, if Ted really needs it, we always find the money somewhere. But the vet thinks that he'll be okay. Previous injury, they've looked at his file, and they think that's what it might be. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But as I said, you know, he goes on these little weird little spells for about, like, it's literally a minute, but a minute is long enough. Take him. Yeah, we've got a vet down the road. They're great. Like, you know, as I said, we got in touch with them. So, you know, if there's anything more serious, we'll bring him down. But as I said, he's eating as normal and stuff like that. He's drinking fluids, and his business is normal. And you know what I mean by his business, and I mean both of his businesses are normal. So, you know, the Davos Gate stuff has hurt me hard, and thanks JWC Reviews for that as well, by the way. I think looks over stories precisely the wrong balance for who. The best two is all shit, good story and good acting carried the show. But that's the Disney influence for you. Exhibit A, the current MCU, or Star Wars. You're right, though. Absolutely. Or in Head 2008. You're absolutely right. Well, yeah, so that's why I'm on. But I said we'd cover something like this. You know, I have been enjoying talking about this nonsense. Unbelievable. I mean, again, you know, that scene for me, though, I want to make it clear. You know, it's a sweet little scene with Matt Smith, But even then, I was saying at the time, why didn't they include all the doctors all the way up to Matt's doctor? And that would have been a nice little thing, I would have thought. But the Matt Smith scene with him was sweet, and especially the way Matt was looking at him. And I do have to say, Shooty's version, he is being cheeky and throws the L wink, right? It is a bit cheeky and he throws the L wink, right? But for me, you know, if you're going to do that, then include all the other doctors as well. Like I said when Matt Smith did it, I have no problem. I have no problem you doing that like that if you're going to include all the doctors. I said it when Matt Smith was there, and I'll say it again now. You know, and for the Jodie fans giving out that Jodie wasn't at it, well, you see, it's an anniversary thing, and that was done for the anniversary, so that's why kind of makes sense that she wasn't there and that why Shooty is there. But I do agree. I think if you're going to include Shooty's doctor, you should include all the doctors. And even though I don't agree that Jodie was the doctor, you know, they're going to do it anyway and put her in. If you were going to do that, then you do it properly. Like, but they won't do that. To me, I'm cynical about this, you know, because, you know, everything that RTD seems to be doing seems to be a little bit deliberate. And I think he's just looking for a reaction now. And that's not good from the showrunner and the creator of the show, of this iteration, let's just say, of Doctor Who. It's not a good look. But look, tomorrow will tell if he still has it. Tomorrow will tell if he can produce and win this fandom back over. I highly doubt he'll win the fandom back over. But if he can give 3 specials that celebrate and embrace the 60 years, but at the same time not insult the fans that got it to 60 years, i.e. us, the foundation, as I so described us in a previous stream. You get rid of the foundation, everything collapses. So if he can produce all well and good, we've got 3 specials that we could be proud of and shout to the rooftops and say, well done, RTD. You did it, but why did you have to be a prick all this time, right? And that's what I would still say to him. Why did you have to be a prick if he delivers? If he doesn't deliver, well then, unfortunately, Shooty is not going to get the best start. And I have to say, for me personally, I've never had a problem with Shooty's casting. I do know that there are fans out there that have a different opinion to me, and they're entitled to that opinion, and I can understand to a certain extent why they have that opinion. But it would be unfair on Shooty, who I believe is a talented actor, didn't get the best start possible. And that will be up to RTD to guarantee that. So, you know, what's happened so far up until now hasn't been good, but that doesn't mean tomorrow can't be. So let's see what happens. Let's see, does he deliver, folks? And if he does, we'll all be sitting here next week with smiles on our faces, won't we? And we'll be celebrating the fact that, you know, he's put out a cracker of a story and a cracker of an episode, and we can celebrate and say, yeah, for now, Doctor Who is back. But of course, as I always end with the caveat, this isn't Carlsberg, and Carlsberg don't do drains, because if they did, they'd be the best drains in the world. Anyway, let's see what else we've got in the chat. We've got on comics in the chat as well. Daniel asking if I was safe. I was. Colorize the Daleks. That's all they had to do. No, but they wanted to CGI some bits, put in some weird music, some sound effects, and then cut 30 minutes. Shame. It could have been epic. The reaction to Shooty by Hartnell would be different to his reaction to Matt Smith. Yeah, I mean, I thought in what terms, if you can elaborate on that, that would be absolutely fantastic, Robert. Yeah. Garbage says, as for Shooty, being in Adventures, he isn't even the current Doctor. It's 14, not 15. But as I have mentioned, the Matt Smith ending was done during the 50th anniversary. And of course, Shooty is obviously going to be the current Doctor after the 60th. But I do agree with you. Technically, it should be David Tennant's Doctor. But they put in Shoot. But again, they could have avoided all of this mess by just adding every single fucking Doctor. You know, done a whole montage scene, extended that scene, right? And then ended with the current Doctor. Or the Doctor to come, which would be Shooty's. But no, I mean, it seems cynical to me. Chibs was being a nasty troll during his whole run. It didn't go well for him. It ain't gonna go well for RTD. Exactly. Our real Super Doctor doesn't like the costume changes. He thinks there's too many. We have seen Shooty in almost a different costume every time. I do agree with you. There has to be some continuity with the costume. That's the whole point. What are people supposed to cosplay? So you can just cosplay any particular. That's a bit weird, you know. I just don't get that. Garbage. I will never forgive RTD for the way he spoke to some people on Instagram and Twitter after they gave a sensible, constructive question. I agree. Sally says there was a lot of quick and bad editing. They're doing war games now, I think, for the next one. Well, that's what, how many episodes? 9 or something. It's very long. And then they do it with the modern texture. He'll get that down to 5 episodes or something. Robert says, I just think a man his age, 66, would have raised a quizzical eyebrow. I disagree with you on that one, actually. And I knew you were going to actually say that. You've got to remember that the Doctor is an alien from Gallifrey. So, see, you're kind of getting confused with Hartnell because everybody knows that Hartnell was a bit of a racist. Some of his former companions actually come out and say it now. But, man, the Doctor wouldn't have had a quizzical look. No, I disagree about that because the Doctor is an alien from Gallifrey. He doesn't see race. But I get what you're saying. I suppose you are actually right because it was Hartnell, wasn't it, in that scene? So you are right, actually, that would be. Yeah, but again, look, you know, they're gonna. This is what they do. I mean, it doesn't. You are right, actually, because it is Hartnell. It's not actually the Fourth Doctor, that whole scene, because it was the biography. You're right, actually. He would have had a different. You're right. He probably would have questioned that. But the thing about it is that they don't care about that. They're trying to correct the mistakes of the past, which they have no right to do. What we do is we learn from the past and we never make those mistakes again. So you are right. I do apologize for that, Robert. You make an absolute spot on point, actually. So I take that back. I thought you meant by, you know, the Doctor, and I don't think the Doctor would, but you're definitely right. William Hartnell did have an issue. We do know that because some of his companions that, you know, that were feminists and supported Jodie's era couldn't wait to tell us how racist Hartnell actually was. So that's how we know that. But to us, you know, we look at his performance. We could separate William Hartnell from the character that he actually played. And, you know, it was a different time back then. So I don't even judge Hartnell. It's just the way it was back then. Attitudes and opinions were different. Yeah, isn't it the War Games? Wasn't that 10? Yeah, 9 or 10. So, I mean, Jesus, they'll cut that down to about 5. Oh, it's 11. Even worse. 11. 11. Jesus. Fuck. I mean, we watched the War Games on here. But what was that, about a year and a half, 2 years ago? That was a long one. We had to split that up into 2 parts. Do you remember? And even then, we done 5 fucking parts in each. I think we broke that. May have even broke that up in 3. That's it. Hartnell was, and Jack is just completely fed up with this shit. Real Super Doctor says Hartnell was just setting his ways and his beliefs, and that's the way it was back then. Though some people did hold that view, but we shouldn't judge them on that because, you know, attitudes were different. This is what I hate. You get all these revisionists and all these people now, victim, and want to, you know, punish us for back in the day. It is 10. Okay, it's 10. See, there's confusion because I think one of them, because it is right. I think there's weird numbers in some of them. Wookie Fever Presents says, "Hi there, everyone. I'm not very enthusiastic about anything coming out from RTD. It's a shame because Doctor Who was massively popular here in the US. Then Jodie showed up, and the fandom dried up. The Doctor is a straight white male. Get used to it." Well, look, as I said, Jack, you have that opinion. The way I look at it is that the Doctor is an alien. And you know, I know it should have been done probably a lot sooner. We wouldn't be having this debate. But as I said, for me, if you get in the best actor to take that role, skin color to me is irrelevant. And I do believe Ncuti is a talented actor. Now, did he get it fully on merit? I do suspect that RTD had obviously a particular Doctor in mind, just like Chibs did. So you could say no. But if Ncuti goes on to smash it out of the park, then we should be okay. I do agree with you. The Doctor ain't gay. And if you make him gay, then, you know, you've lost your audience right there. I mean, leave it out. He had a wife and kids before, apparently. Now we're just gonna erase all that. He was also a grandfather. We just gonna erase all that and ignore all of that. Orenhead 2008 says it's about defacing history, not rating our money. Hold your unmessed with copies of Old Who and other good TV tightly, and pick up a copy of Blazing Saddles while you are. And again, he's right. You know, I've been shouting for a long time, get those physical copies, folks. It's putrid. Do what they're doing to Hartnell, but these are the same types that defile graves and destroy statues. Real Super Doctor says the Doctor is asexual in a regenerative form. I think human nature and family of blood proved in his human contrast as John Smith. And they're still 2 of my favourite episodes, even though it's written by an absolute complete twat. But there you go. We got 32 people watching right now. If you could do me a favor, guys, if you haven't subscribed, please do. If you could like the stream, or if you don't like what I've actually had to say, you can dislike the stream as well. I don't really give 2 craps. Any any sort of interaction is good for the channel. And also, I see a lot of you have been commenting at the end of all of these streams now, and that's really nice to see. So if anybody wants to add any extra comment to this topic of conversation and all of the stuff that we spoke about, let me know what you're thinking in that comment section. But not long now, folks. This time tomorrow, 6:30, isn't it going now, or 7 o'clock? What time is it going now? Well, anyway, this time tomorrow, a lot of yous will be gearing up, getting ready to watch. And I just hope, for the sake of the people that still are holding out hope, I just really do hope that he delivers tomorrow. And I do as well, because, you know, the bottom line is, if this doesn't succeed, Doctor Who, it's over for Doctor Who. In terms of the ratings, will completely nosedive. But the thing about it is, it'll be dragged through because of the Disney deal. So Doctor Who fans will have to watch with horror as Doctor Who gets further dragged through the mud for a couple of years until they decide they've had enough fun with it, and then they tip it on the waste heap. So I hope he does deliver tomorrow. He's got to deliver for the sake of the show. And he's got to deliver for all of those fans who stuck by the show when the show wasn't on TV. And then to those people who then backed RTD when he brought Doctor Who back to our screens. So if he's loyal to those fans, right, then we won't have an issue here. But all indications show that that may not be the case. But again, we can't judge Anton until we see it. And that's what we'll have to wait for. So 6:30, yeah. So a half an hour this time from now, yous will be all geared up, getting ready, getting yous our PJs on, or sitting down, getting some food ready, or making a cup of tea, getting the snacks in, the popcorn, whatever yous do when yous watch Doctor Who, yous will be doing it. The viewing figures were under 0.35 million for Dalek Story last night. Overnight figures, and that is absolutely awful. But I will add the caveat, it is on BBC 4. Wasn't it BBC 4 or BBC 3? I think it was BBC 3, and nobody is watching BBC 3 right now. So, yeah, why did you put it on BBC 1 or BBC 2? It's baffling. It was BBC 4 though. So there you go, it was BBC 4, and they're trying to kill BBC 4 anyway. So let's get that into perspective. In fairness, it'd be interesting to see if they put it on BBC 2 or BBC 1, how the viewing figures would go for it. But we can't really judge on BBC 4 because BBC 4's demographic is a lot of older people. And I mean, the 60 to 70 to the 80-year-old age group. BBC 3 is for the younger, hip, teenage group, and then BBC 1 for the mainstream, and BBC 2 for the more, well, as they would say themselves, the more educated. You know, each of their BBC channels used to cater for each demographic. That's how good BBC used to be back in the day, actually. You had all of these channels that catered for each age group and had shows specifically for them, and it worked. But now everything has to bleed in together, and they're killing BBC 4, by the way, anyway. And Noel, you suddenly sound like a Dalek. It's so to look at, It's StreamYard. There's nothing I can do about it, folks. I pay for this shit, though. That's what annoys me about it, but there's nothing I can actually do about it, folks. But if it does get too bad, let me know, because I obviously don't want to be streaming if the quality is bad. No, you currently sound like I am a Dalek. I will kick your ass. You better produce tomorrow, RTD, or you will be deleted. Oh, that is a Cyberman. What am I doing? There you go. It's just popped up on my screens. Flashbacks with David Tennant and Catherine Tate, Doctor Who. So another Doctor Who for Dummies videos for all you Disney Plussies and all of you so-called next generation of fans that RTD is trying to attract. And then again, you know, when they come in, they'll be telling us to get the feck out. It's not our show anymore. All of this other nonsense. Oh, man, I can't wait. I can't bloody wait. With the universe being on iPlayer, how much will that affect tomorrow night's live figures? Will more watch on iPlayer than on BBC? Well, the Jodie Whittaker episode dropped on iPlayer as well, if I'm correct. But everybody, apparently, according to the media and all, were watching on BBC Three, but the numbers were still dropping. And then they added a couple of, they'd be lucky if they added a couple of thousand on top of the already dwindling ratings. And when they talked about a few years back or a year ago, when they talked about Doctor Who was one of their top shows in the streaming on iPlayer, it was because of all the other episodes and not got to do with the Whittaker era, but they made it that was because the Whittaker era was so successful, but nothing to do with that at all. Look, people will watch, they'll watch live, especially the young kids. If it's on at 6:30, they'll watch live on BBC. There'll be nobody watching on iPlayer unless, you know, unless they're, well, it's a Saturday night, so most people will be home. So I don't see an issue now. You know, BBC. I mean, look, if the ratings do badly on BBC, they'll play it down. Of course they will. Of course they will. But what I would say is you got to look at it this way. Especially for these three specials, I think the best way to analyse these three specials would be to get the overnight viewing figures, wait for the 7-day consolidated as well. Fuck the 28-day consolidated, because then most people then will then switch over to iPlayer then to watch it. Now, do they give individual ratings for each episode on iPlayer? If you tally them all up with the 28 or with the 7-day consolidated figures, then you'll know exactly how many watch. But then you've got to say some of them maybe repeat viewers that might watch. So again, you're not going to get a true gauge. And I suppose the one true gauge would be the live audience. This is why they rely on the live audience, right? It doesn't matter if the show does well on Disney Plus and does well on BBC iPlayer. The viewing figures as well. If the show is dying on Saturday night on BBC One, why the hell would they keep it on a Saturday night on BBC One when they could put a more successful show there and then just put Doctor Who as a streaming thing and then people could only access it on BBC iPlayer and Disney Plus. So, you know, there's just too many ways that this could go. But we'll see. I'm pretty sure, look, some of the reviewers have been, you know, they haven't been favourable. And of course, then people are kicking their toes out the pram. Well, it's not us. They're saying anything. I mean, it's funny. They're giving out to us, like, saying we're being negative. Yeah, the press are the ones that are being negative, and we're just reporting on it. Like, don't shoot the messenger. I mean, if you have a problem with the reviews, don't talk to them. They're the ones that put out the reviews. Right? I mean, just because you will listen to reviewers from all of these lefty shoe journalists and believe every word that they tell you, you know, there are other reviewers out there that also have different opinions, you know what I mean? And we know that the activist journalists are what they're going to say about this. The message was beautifully put across. Yasmin Finney is a revelation. RTD treated with respect and beauty. We already know what the fucking headlines are. It's not fucking hard or rocket science. It's the same shit that they've been spewing for 5-6 fucking years. So we already know what they're going to say. Anyway, apparently my sound is getting back, so we'll wrap it up there then, because there's nothing I can do about the sound. I'm sorry, guys, but the product is just old now at this stage. It's either do streams with no mic now. Hold on. Tell me if that makes any difference. So let's, before I leave, let's see what they've posted. Right, so they've put up an update, BBC Doctor Who Twitter account. So an update, the release for the 60th anniversary specials on DVD and Blu-ray will be released on the 18th of December. So right in time for Christmas. Now, I wonder... No, they wouldn't actually. Because I was going to say, I wonder, will that include the Christmas special? But sure, if they gave us the Christmas special on the 18th, sure, everybody then could leak the fucking thing and ruin the Christmas special for people. So, no, the Christmas special will be separate, of course. But 48 minutes ago, or 44 minutes ago, they put that out. So there you go, the 18th of December for anybody that is buying. And then, of course, as I said, their Doctor Who for Dummies series, as I'm calling it, they have Catherine Tate and David Tennant give their rundown to the meeting, so fans know what I mean. So these shills know what the characters are before they watch a program that they don't actually really like, but are watching it because of the message. So they put up this 6 hours ago. Adventure awaits for Rose Noble. Hashtag Doctor Who. The Star Beast arriving Saturday, the 25th of November on BBC One and BBC iPlayer in the UK and Disney Plus around the rest of the world. So there you go. There. And they have been putting up these little, 2 days to go, 1 day to go. There's another one they put out. There you go. 40 seconds. Doctor Who for Dummies. So that's what they've reduced this show to, right? This show is for the mass dummies, the next generation that they keep saying, the new generation. They want to give the show to the dummies. So they're going to dumb it down, and they're going to lose the fans that like intelligent sci-fi. But that's exactly what it's going for. My Amazon pre-order says the 4th to 5th of January 2024. Well, the BBC official site says it's available from the 18th of December. So there you go, the 18th of December. So it will be out in time for Christmas. Maybe that's just the UK. John Michael Fink says hello. I'm going to listen to Masterful tonight, audio with all the masters, most of them. Enjoy, my friend, enjoy. So, yeah, as I said, they're putting out all of these little guides to Doctor Who and all of this, and yeah, it's clear who this show is aimed at. RTD is the hiding who it's aimed at. But then, you know, puts out a lot of mixed signals, because then he does stuff that pleases the classic fans, and then he pisses them off on the other hand. And then, you know, it's just weird. Mixed signals. So there you go. Interesting. But again, you know, night to go. Nothing really, you know, it's there's no real excitement. Sad, isn't it? Yeah, the Steelbook is available from the 11th of December as well, so we have the Steelbook as well. I have to say the artwork on the Steelbook does look amazing. It's got Tennant on it, it's got Tate on it with the TARDIS behind them. Then you have the Celestial Toymaker, the Rain Warriors, and you've got Beat the Meep, on, which looks like they're all on the back, and Tennant, and have to say the Steelbook looks amazing. Not gonna lie. So yeah, what can you say? What can you say? He better deliver, because if he doesn't deliver, it's over. Anyway, there is no more to actually say, except the next time I talk to you is obviously the 60th anniversary, first special that I've dropped. So I hope when I come back there's good reports. Okay? But I remain very skeptical. But yeah, interesting times ahead. It's very hard to predict this one. It's very hard to predict where it's going to go. It's going to be very hard to predict the ratings. Normally, you know, during the Jodie Whittaker era, we're actually very good at doing predictions. So I'll throw one out there and see how close I get. So I'm going to say for the Star Beast, the overnight viewing figures, and just the overnights, and I'll write it in. I'll actually put it in as well. Right, so this is what I'm going to go with. And I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me, but this is what I'm going with, and this is what I believe it will be. So this is the overnight figures, right? So the overnight, not the 7-day consolidated, but the overnight. And that's what I think it will be. And I'll throw it up there. Now, Garbage thinks 7. JWC Reviews is a little less optimistic, and he thinks it'll be 4 million less than me, which will be 4.2 million. You see, I'm factoring in the David Tennant and the Captain Tate poll, the fact that the Celestial Toymaker, well, obviously the Celestial Toymaker not in this one, but Beat the Leap, I do believe, will be a pull for some people. And as I said, the two, Tennant and remember Wilf as well. We've forgotten that Wilf is going to be actually in this episode, and considering that it was his last ever piece of work on screen, I think that's going to have a bit of an impact as well. But there you go, 4.2 from JWC Reviews. As I said, we got about 5 million, with 7 million on the 7-day. John thinks it will be 3.2. It's not to be the biggie everyone expects. Will jump up in the consolidator. I'm probably being optimistic. I said a lot of people probably wouldn't agree with that, but I'm just I've really analysed the Whittaker era. We were we were never really far away from what we thought the overnights would be. And most of us on the panel used to get it. I'm just trying. It is pretty hard at the very start, you're right, to kind of predict the first one. For the second one, I think we'll get a better handle because we will judge it off the first, how that one did, and then we'll factor in, well, if it was an improvement, more fans would probably come back, so we'll probably get more, or we might lose more fans and the ratings will be low. It is very hard to kind of judge the first one, but I am taking in the factors that I have seen. And of course, there are some negative factors, and I will say that, but I do think there are some really good pull factors there that could bump the ratings up. But we'll see. I'm probably being the most optimistic here. But John remains cautionary optimistic and to keep me sanity, and it's really hard to do, he said. And I agree with you there. But as I said, these three specials is going to be very interesting. It's going to be very, very interesting, of course. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. There is a Doctor Who documentary on tomorrow on Channel 5 at 8:30 called Doctor Who 60 Years of Secret Scandals. I'll probably watch that instead. Yeah, this is the documentary that everybody has actually stayed very silent on. And apparently, if true, I'm told that they were trying to get this stopped. I just hope, for the sake of it, that it doesn't expose any of these classic Doctors in any way negative. I mean, I hope that they haven't done anything that's going to fucking shock us, man. And it's more that to do with the people maybe running behind the scenes, because a lot of, especially the JNT area, there's been a lot of stuff that have been said about that area. It could be focusing on that, which would be very interesting. But the thing about it is, I think they tried to get this stopped. But that will be an interest. But again, I don't have Channel 5, so, I'm going to have to find some way to find it so I can watch it myself. But I do know eventually some of these Channel 5 documentaries end up on YouTube. So, maybe it'll go up. But, yeah, that'll be interesting to watch. Anyway, we will leave it there, folks. To the guys that are going into this tomorrow, obviously I won't be watching it tomorrow. I'll be watching it after the fact. Good luck to you all. I hope he delivers for all of our sakes. Yeah, I will see you. I'll see you on Sunday. So have a good one. Stay safe and look after yourselves. And as I said, I'll be spending the evening offline tonight. So no Friday night contact tonight. Everybody that was looking forward to that. I do apologise, but last night was a bit of a rough one. So I'm just going to have a chill out night now and relax. But I will talk to you all again for the Classic Who's On. So come and join me for that. Remember, it's the Mowing Robert. We finished the rest of that story, and then obviously I won't be. I know there'll be people determined to talk about the what happened on Saturday night, but I won't be addressing it on the Classic Who's On. So I want to make that clear, because I will be doing the episode myself, a watch along of the episode, and then I will be doing the panel and bringing people on, and we will be discussing it, and then we will tell you what we liked about it, we didn't like about it, and then we'll rate it out of 10, as we always do. So if you still come in on Sunday, do me a favour, and it's all I ask. Don't give anything away. You can talk about the episode if you want to in broad terms, but please do not give any spoilers away, because I'm going to be watching it after the fact, as I said. So please don't give spoilers away. And that's all I ask is. So until then, good luck. Who wins? 60 years though, it might be doom and gloom now, but let me just say, 60 years of a sci-fi show that's brought a lot of us together here, and a lot of people together, good people. And I just want to say to all of you guys who never got a chance to say to you, happy Doctor Who day. And hopefully this 60th anniversary is not the last time that we say that Doctor Who. I don't want Doctor Who to go, but if the ghost hits up, well then we're in trouble. But until then, enjoy. Fingers crossed. See you on the other side. Stay safe. Look after your loved ones, of course, as well. And we will see you for the next one. Bye, folks. Have a good evening.